Dare I say, the king of mid-range Android devices are back with a new series, the Honor 600 Pro, and I find it interesting that there's also a standard Honor 600 as well. So in the mid-range sort of segment, they have a Pro version of it and a normal version, and I think that's interesting because it's a Pro mid-range device. Anyway, let's get into this and see what this is all about, because these are actually quite good. And when it comes to camera, the battery life, the display quality, they're sporting some of the flagship quality that you would get in flagship devices today. So these are really good stuff. The only thing I can't give you just yet in this video is the pricing, because we don't have that yet. So stay tuned for the actual official launch event where you get to learn about the pricing. Then I can update the description with that information. Right. We've got that out of the way. Let's start with the design. When it comes to the design, the 600 and the 600 Pro are very, very similar in terms of the sizing, for example. But what you notice is mainly the camera array on the back. But let's start mainly on the Pro version, and then we can always bring the standard in where there are differences. So you got a matte finish on the back, which means not much fingerprint is going to be attracted here, so you don't get loads of fingerprints on there. What you also get is a matte finished frame as well. So really nice aluminium frame, which is really good. So matte metal frame. It's available in black, this gold and white version, and also that orange color, which I think most smartphone companies are trying to tap into since the iPhone came into existence. The iPhone 17 Pro Max came into existence with the orange color. This is 7.8 millimeters thick. It weighs around 195 grams, and it has all the IP rating that you might want. So we're talking IP68, IP69, and IP69K. So get your water jets towards this, and you're still gonna remain intact with no issues at all. It also says it's got SGS 5 stars for drop and crush. That I haven't tested, so I can't really comment on that. But you do get dual speakers and dual mic as well for noise cancelling and so on and so forth. Around the device, you have the camera on the back, on the side, power button, volume controls there as well, and a camera control buttons also there as well. And on the bottom, we have USB-C ports. You get actual physical dual SIM card tray there as well. And this still supports eSIM, so SIM cards galore. On the other side, there's nothing there on top. Speaker grill. I think that's still IR Blaster still there as well. So you got all the stuff that you need to get this up and running pretty quickly. And that goes for the standard version as well. They're pretty much the same in terms of what you get on the ports and the buttons and all that stuff. So like I said, they're very, very similar in terms of the design. The display is very similar as well. We're talking 6.57 inch AMOLED straight screen. It supports 120 Hz refresh. In terms of the PPI, we're talking 458, and this is 2728 by 1264. Supports a whopping 8000 nits of peak HDR brightness, which is some of the best you'll find on the market today. It supports Netflix and Amazon HDR as well, so this content when you're watching movies is going to be really, really good. Sharp, deep blacks, the usual. PWM dimming is there as well. We're talking 3840 Hz, and this supports over 1 billion colors. So very colorful, very bright, and also good when it comes to color accuracy. You got in-display fingerprint scanner, which is not ultrasonic, still works pretty well. So as you can see there, it's very reactive, very quick, no issues there at all. And same goes for the standard version. The processing power is where they differ, because the Pro version has the more powerful processing prowess compared to the standard version, which is understandable because that will come up in pricing. So the standard come with less processing power. The Pro version comes with Snapdragon 8 Elite processor, which is last year's, I believe, flagship processor, which was already good. It's actually powerful. So this is capable of all kind of stuff like gaming and all that stuff. It has Adreno 830 talking about graphics. And for storage and memory, 12 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of internal storage. For the battery, we're talking 6,400 milliamp hour battery, same as the standard. 80 watt wired charging, which is pretty quick in this sector. And 50 watt wireless charging, and 27 watt wired reverse charging. So you can basically use this as a power bank if you want to use it. There's also 3D vapor chamber cooling there as well, so it keeps things under control, especially when using graphics intensive operations like gaming and so on and so forth. The standard version though, you start to compromise a little bit when it comes to that processing power. Like I said, so you got Snapdragon 7 Gen 4, 8 gigabytes of RAM, and you can go up to 512 gigabytes of storage, or the base is 256 on here. There's no wireless reverse charging on here, or wireless charging or reverse wire charging for that matter. So you basically get just the 80-watt fast charge available to you, which isn't too bad at all. Camera on the back as well, like I said at the start, kind of differs. So you can tell already based on the design and what you can see on the back. The Pro version gives you that triple camera setup. So 200 megapixel f1.9 aperture, 1/1.4 in size in terms of inches, 1/1.4 inch, if you get my drift. 50 megapixel periscope telephoto lens at f2.8, 3.5 x opticals there. You have a 12 megapixel ultra wide and macro, which is at f2.2 with autofocus. You got color temperature sensor there as well, and a 50 megapixel front facing camera. On the standard, there's no telephoto on here, which it's an acceptable compromise. I think I prefer ultra wide over telephoto, and that's also going to be that same 12 megapixel ultra wide and macro at f2.2. For the software, they're both running Magic OS 10, which is powered by Android 16. You get 6 years of security and software updates in Europe. I'm not sure about globally, but that's giving you peace of mind in terms of how much or how long this is going to be supported for. With that comes all kind of different software features in terms of AI features. So you get that video generator feature on here, which is the 2.0 version now, so you can do a bit more with it. So they're both available on both devices now. You get all the other AI stuff like deepfake detection and all that kind of stuff. So you're going to be used to this very much, pretty much straight away. What's annoying about it though is that bloatware that you get with it. You get a lot of bloatware pre-installed on the device. Granted, you can remove them, but it's still kind of there and it's annoying. You've got Google Gemini there as well, amongst other things. So on our AI is there, like I said already. So really good stuff in terms of the software. There's no issues at all. It just works fluidly, very quick to use, to get used to. That's what I mean. And you got gestures and all that stuff there. So really good stuff on the software. So having said all of that, how does the camera perform? They're very, very similar in general. So I won't try and dwell on just one device because the difference is one has telephoto and one doesn't in terms of the periscope. But the camera quality is pretty good. We're talking really good, accurate colors. But what you would get sometimes is a lot of bluey, oversaturated sky, for example, when you're taking landscape photos. So you have to be mindful of that. But besides that, though, I think it does really well across the board, whether it's low light, whether it's zooming in, again, AI to add a bit of, tweaks to the photos here and there when it comes to telephoto over a certain amount of zoom range. But apart from that, I think it does a really good job for a mid-range device, like good quality photos, dynamic ranges there as well, great shadows, and also skin tone looks decent as well. It's not too bad at all. I think they've done a really good job when it comes to the camera. So overall, whether you go for the Pro or the standard version, you are going to be getting a great device for your money. I mean, I'm saying that I don't even know the price, but knowing Honor, this is going to be reasonably priced, and you're going to be getting a whole lot of phone for your money. It's going to be definitely one to consider if you're looking for a new mid-range device. There's loads of options in the market. There's Pixel, there's Vivo, there's Oppo, there's Poco. There's so many options available on the market right now in terms of mid-range, but I think this one feels very premium. It's solid, and it's probably one of the best ones on the market right now to definitely consider. But if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I do my best to answer you, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.